Morning, everyone. May 3rd, Nuku Hiva. We're enjoying our coffee and chilling out. We're gonna clean up, try to put the boat back together today. We got the harbor cruise at 10. We're going ashore for some provisioning again. That's our day. Welcome aboard.
I need new batteries in this, please. The crazy thing is these wasps, Steve, like this thing, it doesn't kill it totally. Like, it'll zap it, but in an hour from now, I'll see it crawling on something. The pugs, the pugs eat it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, I think so very much. And yeah, and I don't think you're being an asshole at all. Right. Okay, so we can carry. I've never done. Oh, you lost. You're not. Life's not gonna end well here. Life's not gonna end well in this boat. Um. Hi everybody. If anyone's watching right now, before our harbor cruise, we're gonna start getting ready for the harbor cruise soon. But oh hey Amy. The stores that we're going to are open at 6:30, but we didn't get up early enough today, Amy. So we're getting ready. I actually want to turn around a bunch of this provisions now before we leave. So I'm gonna. If anyone has a good baked carrot recipe, I'm gonna turn. I already made some pommes frites with the potatoes from yesterday. Just got those in the fridge. I cooked up some chicken that went bad from our freezer disaster yesterday. But I'm researching right now. Our oven is an air fryer slash um, oven, and I'm thinking maybe I air fry the carrots. So I'm not sure if that's gonna work or not. But I need to clear off counterfeit. The boat is an absolute disaster. All of our cushions got wet. So they're all taken apart. You can see in the front, in the mast cam, what a nightmare that is. You can see in the back. I mean, it's just the boat looks like we were, somebody came on board and just took it apart for drugs. So we need to. Good morning, Cheryl. Happy Sunday. I was just asking if anyone knows any good like baked air fried carrot recipes. I sliced up a bunch of carrots yesterday and put them in the fridge for carrot sticks. But one thing that's important when you live on boat life is like if you have provisions that could possibly go bad or you need extra space, is like what I call processing it. And audio's not cool. All right, now can you hear me? Can you hear me now? I think you probably can hear me now. Sorry, I think Steve had the other mics back there open. So I was just saying, the boat is an absolute disaster. We tore it apart because all the cushions got wet, and so we had to pull the foam out because it's starting to smell like mildew. So right now, if you look at the front mast camera, that's why all the cushions are out, and we'll put it out in the sun, but then it starts raining again. So they've never been able to get properly dry. Also, all of our cushions in the back got wet. So, oh yay! All the cushions in the back got wet. So we are trying to research and find out the best solution for that. Sunbrella fabric, you can bleach it, but it kind of makes me a little bit nervous with the black. So when we go ashore today, there's 2 supermarkets that are open today. They opened at 6:30. We were there yesterday, and they confirmed that they opened at 6:30 today. So, but because obviously we have our harbor cruise in an hour and a half, so we didn't get up early enough. Hopefully, we can do that after the harbor cruise. And I just am trying to what I call processing my provisions that I bought yesterday, is like turn them around. If
we need more space on the counter or storage or whatever. Hey, hey, Sarah. Happy Sunday. Sarah's my sister, you guys. Sarah's my twin sister. And actually, you'll see in here Amy Kay. We met her yesterday, and we know her through, yeah, call me later. Not till later, just because we have a harbor cruise and then we have to go provision shopping, and we turn off our cellular data when we are on land because it eats up all of our data, and we only have a certain amount for all of French Polynesia, so we turn off our, so that's why we are not broadcasting on land or doing any, Steve will have his on, but like we have very limited data for the next 3 months through this country. So anyways, what was I saying? If anybody has a really good baked carrot recipe, yes, we're twins. Can you believe it? I know, my sister's, I love my sister. She's my better half. I'm actually a minute older than her, but that was only because I was wrapped in the umbilical cord and they had to pull me out. So I just, like, as usual, I made life difficult for both of us. I made life difficult for myself. Sarah, so at the dinghy dock, that's where all the fishing boats clean their fish. And so we were just in yesterday morning at like 7 a.m., right when the fishing boats, and so they were coming in and then throwing their scraps into the water. And so the sharks here all know that during certain times when the fishing boats come to go and hang out there, but I didn't realize that in the water that we're swimming, it's like so we're not going to be going in the water. Hey Lori, hi, welcome, happy Sunday. It's so good to see your name. Oh, French, a 4-hour French dinner. That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. Steve and I did get that pizza last night. It was so good. That's actually where we met Amy and Peter, so that was good. They were black tip sharks, which apparently, I mean, we're not in their food chain, but you know, they're feeding, so it's funny because no one saw this. They just saw Steve standing in the dinghy, but I actually climbed over all of that and got out of the dinghy while it was happening so I could film it for him. So I'm the real hero here, but it's fine. So anyways, I'm gonna hop back into provisioning. I need to turn some things around before we leave for our harbor cruise, get ready for the harbor cruise at 10 a.m. sharp. You guys all should have had the link for that. We'll be doing that. And then after that, Steve and I are going to go ashore and try to snatch up everything we can in town because we have to provision for 2 months. Sarah, we lost our refrigeration again yesterday. That's another story I'll tell you. Our freezer. So that was, Steve spent all day. A day yesterday that was supposed to be doing what we're going to be doing today. Steve spent all day repairing the freezer, so that sucked. Yeah, so we're a little bit behind. We were planning on leaving today. I don't think that's gonna happen because Steve needs to go to the chandlery. We need to get fuel, and the dinghy dock takes like a bunch of people. So we're trying to figure it out. So I'm gonna hop back in there, and then but if anybody has an amazing baked carrot recipe or air fry carrot or anything, let me know, because I have like 6 carrots that I need to turn around and then turn into something. I think I'm gonna try the air fryer. I'm gonna search air fryer. Are carrots good in the air fryer? Question mark.
Are carrots good in the air fryer?
Carrots in the air fryer are pretty darn amazing.
Carrots in the air fryer are pretty darn amazing.
All right. Sounds like they're a good thing. So, what's the best recipe to make air fryer carrots? Fried thyme, carrots, salt, and pepper, olive oil. Toss carrots in a large mixing bowl. Toss the carrots with olive oil, dried thyme, black pepper. All right, transfer the carrots to the basket of an air fryer and arrange them flat single layer. All right, this sounds easy enough. Hi, Kristen, good morning. We had a really nice night last night. We went and got pizza ashore, which we've been talking about now since we had land ho. We also met up with some friends that are mutual randomly. They're here. They are also big into the sailing community, and they are going to be on a boat starting on Tuesday. So we probably meet up with them again. Today, you know, we have our very active harbor cruise this morning at 10. And then after that, Steve and I need to continue on provisioning. If you see that the boat is even more torn up than it was before, good morning, AZE Pilot. It's because all of our cushions have not been able to dry, and now they're starting to mildew. So that is another problem. Like, we just, you know, the boat looks like it was torn apart for some drug raid or something. So that is our goal today. After our harbor cruise, we're going to provision. We're going to get the boat back together so that hopefully we can leave tomorrow. Steve is going to the chandlery tomorrow. I'm going to continue provisioning tomorrow, and then we're also going to have to go to get fuel at some time. So anyways, I'm gonna go and make my air fryer carrots so that I have counter space when we receive more provisions today. But yeah, you guys, we are excited about our harbor cruise this morning. We have a wasp invasion in the boat. I have this wasp zapper that they're not standing a chance in, but yeah, it's a never dull moment here on some Tuesday. And it's raining again on our cushions that we're trying to dry. My plants love the rain, but it's Steve's not happy back there scrubbing, you know, all the things. This is boat life. All right, air fryer carrots are happening. Of course, my air fryer pan is already rusted. How you doing on coffee, Cabby? That's okay, it's half. Well, you want some more? There's a little bit left. Alright, the water bowl is not in the normal place.
The what?
The water bowl is here, it's not in its normal place, just FYI.
Good morning, everybody. I didn't say hello. I'm all wrapped up in my
sister's
project.
there, Kristen's there.
Hi, Sarah. Hi, Kristen.
AZ Pilot, Amy, our new friends. Check, they just subscribed. They're in there.
Nice. Hi, Amy. And Peter, right?
And Peter.
Okay, good. Yeah, it was great hanging out with you guys. I hope you got dinner after you got home.
Yeah. She said they did. They messaged me.
Good. Yeah, a lot going on here today just to get ready. The whole idea of having a nice relaxing day keeps getting deferred.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll work hard here in the anchorage and we'll get a provision and we'll get the boat hooked back together.
Yeah, the goal is to get the boat back together today. And like, I don't know if you can see that, but it's so rolly today. Get the boat back together.
I'm eager to get out of here.
Yeah, we're ready to go and see a beautiful anchorage.
Like, this anchorage is just not, this anchorage is kind of, I mean, industrial is not right, but that's the idea, right? Like, this is the town, you come in, it's like going into LA, you know, maybe you have to go into LA to get some stuff. But we're eager to get out of here, but we need to finish buying enough food. We're trying to get everything, basically because our cushions, as Megan probably explained, you know, they get wet and then they never freaking dry. So they're starting to smell a little bit musty in some cases, so we're deciding that the best way to, I'm hoping we can find some borax, because that sounds like the miracle.
Yeah. If we were to have just rained one time, and then if it would have rained once, and then and then the sunshine, we wouldn't be having this problem. The problem is it gets sunny, then it starts raining again.
Yeah. So you put stuff out to dry, and guess what? It gets rained on.
Yeah, so,
I mean, it's just never ends.
So we hear it's going to stop raining by Wednesday, so hopefully when we get to other anchorages, we'll be able to like really deep dive and with that. But there's just a lot to do before we leave. And I'm stressing out about provisioning. Since we weren't able to go early this morning to get provisions, we probably missed the day. So like how it works here is, you know, they stock their shelves for like the day. Sometimes it'll be stocked, like they stock it, you know, once every week or twice a month or whatever. Once it's gone, you know, it's gone. So we've been told by multiple people on all of the provisioning forums and groups that I follow that in Nuku Hiva, if you don't, or you're not there by 6:30 in the morning, which obviously we were not today. We were yesterday and we got a lot of good stuff, but it's not enough. We need enough food for 2 months because we probably will not be in Tahiti for another 2 months. So we have to plan worst case scenario. I mean, we might be there in a month and a half. We don't really know, but every other little place that we go along our way, along the trip, it's very remote. They're not going to have a lot of stuff. So we need to stock up now and be prepared. Thankfully, we have so many damn eggs that that's good news. So I'm gonna turn these carrots around just because, and like what I call it is I call processing my provisions, taking off labels, taking things out of cardboard. You know, there's a lot of work to do. It's not just like you can't just put them in your shelf. I have inventory of everything, very organized, you know. And then after I see how much stuff fit from yesterday, I was able to be like, okay, we can fit, you know, I don't know, 2 more weeks worth of chicken. So hopefully when we go back, and tomorrow morning we'll be going really early in the morning. Today we kind of didn't wake up and rush because we have our harbor cruise today. So I'm gonna make some, I already cut up carrots last night because I liked it. I make this really awesome Greek yogurt ranch dressing dip. It's legitimately just ranch dressing powder packet and some Greek yogurt. And then I add in some extra special seasonings. And then, what time is it right now? So then, oh, that's smart, Steve. That's That's smart.
What?
The dog gate.
That's smart.
That's really
What?
smart.
Dog game.
Yeah.
I think I might do like a ghetto thing of laundry today too, with a bucket and some detergent, just because our towels, we do have a wash machine on board, but right now we don't have any fuel to run the generator for the power, so I think I might just do one, you know, on the lifelines there.
Oh, the dog game is what you like, then?
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah. I was looking for something like, gotta keep them under control, but also be able to work, you know?
Yeah, and then not to get hot as balls in there.
I don't know if you guys can hear me, but if any of y'all ever go to sea, make sure you get a washdown pump installed.
I have those are off because people were saying that they were having trouble steering.
What's that?
That mic is off because people were saying that they were having a hard time steering.
Why not? If I yell, I might be able to hear me really well.
Yeah, Steve is loud. I love carrot.
Which mic is on? The one on
This one.
the inside?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So in case y'all are curious, I know a lot of you are curious about how all this stuff works, what we're doing. What I'm doing right now is I'm doing laundry. I'm washing, rinsing down the cover on the dinghy so it can dry, and I'll put it away. The dog diapers. But before we left, I spent what was probably too much money to have what's called a washdown pump installed. And that's when you see me working with the garden hose back here, that's what I'm using. And the washdown pump is switchable. I can switch it between salt water, where it's just pumping raw water out of the sea and pressurizing it and putting it through the hose, and fresh water. So what I do is I wash everything in salt water and then do one final rinse with fresh. And especially here in the harbor, I have to be very, very conservative with how much fresh water we use, because we can't make more. I will not run the water maker here in the harbor because the water's not clean.
Yeah, and we still have showers to take.
Right.
How
So-
are we doing, by the way?
Huh?
We good on water?
I haven't looked. It's, you know, but we can't make more, so we got to use what we got to be careful of what we got.
Okay, so then maybe we do the fresh water later. I mean, it's the dog.
Well, that's already done. So anyway,
So tank 1 is full.
Good.
Tank 2 is a quarter.
a quarter. Tank 2 is the big one. That sucks. All right, so we're getting low, so we need to be really careful.
Yeah. All right. Great. Yeah, so we're getting low on water. If we were to leave today, tomorrow, that would be fine. Because then once we're out in the main ocean, we can make more water. But it's really important that you don't put bad, shitty marina water. Because, you know, we keep our tanks closed when we're in a marina. Tanks meaning the holding tanks for our sewage. You don't know what other people are doing. You don't know if our boat next to us has their tanks open. You know, technically, you know, the rule of thumb is in a lot of countries it's against the law to keep your black water tanks open. God, these freaking wasps. It's against the law in a lot of countries. I don't really know what the rule is here in French Polynesia, but just a rule of thumb, you know, it's just rude to keep the black water tanks.
Gross.
Yeah, it's so rude because you don't know who else is making. Like if someone else is making water, they're making water from your, excuse my language, shit. It's disgusting.
I don't know if y'all can hear me, but I try to get everything I can out of this fresh water. So for example, after I'm done rinsing, then I'll pour it on the dog pad, you know, to run some fresh water overboard.
Yeah, you guys have probably seen, especially with the theme of when you live on a boat, you have to make everything last as long as you can. So like, that's why it's painful to throw out leftovers, things that go bad. Like my mole was a good example. You know, I made chicken mole, I grilled up chicken. I used some of that chicken for other recipes other than mole. I put it in my mole. I then used the leftover mole for burritos. I then used the next leftover mole for like some mole nachos for Steve. So you're constantly having to repurpose things and make do with, you know, extend the life of a lot of things. So, you know, good example, I'm air frying these carrots so that they don't go bad. And then, you know, we'll put them in salads. We'll eat them as a side. We'll do just lots of different things.
Yeah, don't even think about it, Pops. There's a new sheriff in town.
Steve, we've always been the sheriff. What are you talking about?
Oh, the mast camera's on. That's probably why the audio is not great.
Oh, someone said they could hear me.
Yeah, no, they can hear you, but they're getting like feedback with the mast and probably wind as well. So that should be better. But I was gonna switch over to these. Huh? What?
I'm just trying to
check.
like do as much as I can before.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know what I mean? Like we're gonna need the counter space.
All right, sounds good. Cool. All right, the you know, like I don't mind. I kind of enjoy actually, because I'm yapping away, and I'm a yapper. But like as I work on this stuff, I sort of explain what's going on, and I think you guys find it interesting. At least I'm interesting to myself. But I can talk through the stuff I'm working on and what I'm doing, and so right, if you're gonna watch the show, you might as well know what's going on. So first of all, if you can see this was this morning's innovation that I'm actually quite happy with.
Sorry, buddy. We didn't mean to drop that on your head. Steve.
But this is the gate that goes in the back and prevents the dogs from falling overboard. But
you can hear it, Steve, on the camera.
Oh, that means the sound is on. That's going to cause echo. Hang on, audio engineer in the house. We sure do. Thanks, guys. Where is this playing? Hang on, we're getting the sound echo out of something. All right, check. I think I've solved that problem. That should get rid of the echo. All right. Okay. And I'll tell you, oh, you could hear me pretty good. That's because I'm loud.
He's loud.
They said they could hear me when I was all the way in the back,
Yeah.
which is funny because the microphone's all the way up here, but you could hear me just because I'm a loud guy. I have
It's
a loud
funny.
voice.
Can I tell you guys a funny story
Yes,
real quick?
tell them
Okay,
the story,
so-
Megan.
Yeah, so really funny story. So my very first date with Steve, we went to one of those restaurants that's like New York style, where you sit on like long tables and you're really close to the people next to you. And within 5 minutes of the date, I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is so loud. There's no way that I'm gonna be able to date this guy because he was so loud. And I was kind of embarrassed because like everyone's looking. And two bottles of champagne later, Steve is my favorite person in the world.
So champagne is the secret, evidently.
Champagne is the secret if the guy is loud.
It is funny though, is I don't know why. I think mostly it's blessed, some would say cursed, with this loud voice. My dad had the same thing. Just the tone of our voice, the baritone, it just carries. So
You can still hear that.
usually
audio,
that's
but-
great because at a party, you're never going to be leaning in trying to hear what I'm saying, right? The downside is if I had a nickel for every time I've been sitting in a restaurant and getting a stink eye from another table,
Steve's
because
a
it's
loud
just
guy.
if I'm consciously thinking about it, I can lower my voice, but it's not natural, and I was not born with an inside voice.
And
you know,
Steve
the whole
likes being the loud
inside
guy.
inside voice, and so like I don't know, so yeah, it's kind of funny. So I've always been the loud guy, and I embrace it.
And sometimes I have to tell Steve, like, hey, Steve, you're really loud, right? Like, you got to dial it back
Yeah.
a little bit. It's not very often because we all know that Steve's
Well, the
a loud
funny
guy.
thing, I don't know how much the volume comes through on these mics, but I'll do this demonstration live sometimes. Like, if I'm talking right now at this volume, this volume right here, which I think to most people is a normal volume at which they have a conversation. To me, I almost can't believe that you can hear me when I'm speaking at this volume, even though I know you can. So there you go. I'm the loud guy, and I'm good
Steve's
with
a
it.
loud guy.
So I think you guys were able to hear me explaining the hose, right? So the hose has a switchable valve, and honestly, this boat didn't used to have this washdown pump, so there was no hose. And of all the improvements that I made to this boat before we left, I mean, obviously solar power is an important one. There's a lot of things that are super important. Matter of fact, it's probably dumb that I'm running the generator right now because we got good sun. I think I'm going to shut it off. But anyway, adding this, it has a switchable valve so that it can either take water out of the fresh water tanks, or I can switch it and it just takes it out of the sea. And so being able to hose stuff down, I wash all these little doggy diapers by filling up a 5-gallon bucket with seawater, washing them all down, and then I rinse it 2 to 3 times with seawater and then one final time with fresh water, which is what I just finished doing. And it worked great. You can wash anything. We could wash our own clothes. I hose off the decks. I'll hose off the decks with seawater and then come back with and then I can scrub them if I want to, put salt, some kind of cleaner down. And then when I'm done, one final rinse with the fresh water. But, we have, I always forget the exact number. We have something about 160 gallons of total fresh water on board. And as you heard Megan say a minute ago, one of those tanks, the biggest tank, is only on the quarter tank. So I'd be willing to bet right now we have, I don't know, maybe 50 gallons of water, which ain't much. And we can't make more here in the harbor because of what we were explaining about. The water maker takes water out of the sea and turns it into fresh water. But if the water that you're pulling out is polluted with sewage or oil or diesel fuel, it'll A, be nasty, and B, potentially ruin the filtration membranes in the water maker. And just last night I was out here and there was a huge slick of some kind of petroleum on the water. And it was floating by the boat, and I was immediately concerned that maybe it was my boat. My guess is it's diesel fuel, just based on what the slick looked like and the rainbow of it. It was probably a big slick of diesel fuel, and it was probably spilled at the fuel dock, which is half a mile that way. So it wasn't us, but it's freaking diesel fuel in the water. And you pump that through your water maker and you're going to ruin your membranes, and they're $1,000 to replace.
We could always wait. If we were going to stay longer, we would pick up the anchor, what they call weighing anchor, and go out into the ocean.
Oh yeah, we do that.
Make water and come back. But
Yep.
we plan on leaving hopefully tomorrow. So that doesn't need
Matter
to be.
of fact, if you've gone back and looked at some of our old videos, you can go back and look at, we had an amazing day in Acapulco. And we saw the cliff divers, the Acapulco cliff divers. We saw them from the water, from the boat. And we saw a handful of other things. We stopped by this beach where there was all this partying and fun going on. And that whole trip happened because we needed water. So we decided to go out for the day, run the water maker all day long. And then while we were out there running the water maker, it was like, well, wait a minute, isn't the cliff diver show at 1 o'clock?
Yeah.
You know, it's 20 minutes away.
Such a great day. We ended up lowering the paddle boards and paddleboarding to shore to this beach party.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful day.
I actually, now that I think about it, I don't think I ever posted the video of the cliff divers from the water. But I do have a video
and one
of them
cliff
from
divers
the...
swam out to the boat.
Yeah, that was cool.
Remember that, Steve?
Yes.
That was awesome. We need to make a video of that.
He came out to get his propina, which means tip in Spanish. But he swam out to the boat in his little Speedo, and he came on board and took pictures with us. But it was funny, as he was swimming up to the boat, Megan's like, who's this guy? He's trying to climb on the boat. Like he thought he was a pirate or something. It was funny. And he was a little guy, man. He was
tiny.
He was like I mean, the Mexicans are not tall people. And so he climbs out and he's like, you know, this dark caramel colored short little man in a Speedo.
Like dripping wet.
It was a funny day. He was super nice. Took pictures with us. And then I don't remember what I gave him, but I gave him what I think was probably a very generous tip. At least I hope so.
Well, and he's no dummy. I mean, they're seeing these yachts out on the horizon. You know, like they're not going to go and collect tips to the people that are standing on it. They're going to come out to the yachts where they know that people probably have money.
Well, anyone watching it on shore, they have sort of a system in place to come around and introduce and make sure they collect a tip. But yeah, if people that are out on the boats, if they want a tip, somebody's going for a swim, so I guess they probably take turns, you know, like, all right, Jose, it's your week. But his name wasn't Jose. What was his name? Do you remember?
Ramon, I think.
Huh?
Ramon?
Ramon, that sounds right. So that was a fun day. You know, it's funny, Megan was talking earlier about making the most out of water, using every drop of water, using all the bit of the last potatoes, all the bit of everything else. This is, I'm going to wax philosophical for a minute, but this lifestyle, I feel, it feels very authentic to me because I feel like that takes us back to our roots and how mankind was really kind of meant to live. We weren't meant to live in this consumer society where we're just throwing away and replacing. We're meant to live with you know, using the resources that you have available to you to their maximum. So, you know, you like Rich was saying yesterday, you know, you fix stuff with what you have available to you. You don't throw away food. You find, okay, the potatoes are starting to go bad, cut them up and make them palm frites. You know, and it's just you know, we have that tagline of conserve and reuse and all that, but it doesn't really happen much in society. People feel good because they're throwing their can in the green bin, but out here it's real, man. And you're doing it out of necessity, which is also how, you know, our forefathers lived not that long ago. Go back 100 years, and it just feels like a very natural, very real way. So I certainly feel, and I think Megan feels the same way, I feel much more connected to nature, to the world, to the natural world, to God. It feels very real out here because you're figuring it out day by day how to get by. We're figuring out how to go in and get provisions.
Yeah,
you know.
nothing will make you appreciate your car and the supermarket more than loading up a dinghy with a dock cart, a cooler, shopping bags, taking that dinghy ashore, climbing all that stuff out of the dinghy, then walking a mile, 2 miles to the grocery store to find that the grocery store doesn't have everything or they ran out of what you needed, and then having to walk around town to all the other grocery stores, and then having to haul that back to the dinghy, loading that stuff back in the dinghy, and then dinging it to the boat, and then putting it on the boat. Nothing makes you appreciate having your car.
Real truth right there, man.
Than having to actually work for those groceries that you may not or may not be getting.
I mean, we have a little pull wagon, you know, one of those little folding wagons. And, you know, so full of heavy groceries, I had to pull that, I don't know how long it was, half a mile back from the grocery store to the dock, transfer everything into the dinghy like Megan's talking about. It's wild, but it's, you know, honestly, like I feel very close to the land here. You know, to the sea, to the real world. Everything at home, more and more, I don't know what the right word is. Fake isn't the right word. I don't know, just too convenient, too easy. Like, life is so easy. And there's a downside to that. Like, per what Rich was saying the other day, one of the downsides is, look how many, not, I won't even say men, people in our society, there's no reason why women shouldn't do it too, right? But don't know how to, like, fix basic stuff, make something work again, or even something simple, like hanging a picture. You know, like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm making any sense to y'all. I'm just flapping my gums and you're getting a little tour of inside Steve's brain. But yeah. And right now you can't quite see the rest of what I'm doing, but this is our clothesline to dry the doggy diapers. I try to get them into the sun so they dry as quickly as possible. But of course, at some point today, it will rain. But you know, sooner or later, they'll catch up and they'll be dry. Ugh. But it is funny, you know, we got clotheslines out, we got towels hanging over the lifelines on the side. I mean, to some extent, when you live on your boat, it looks like the Beverly Hillbillies. You know, at home, we just run these through the washer dryer. But here, you gotta manage your water usage, you gotta manage your electricity usage. All right. All right, with that done, I'm almost tempted not to do it at all, but I'm gonna do one quick rinse down with fresh.
All right, Steve, it's 9:10, so just.
All right, well, that's good because I'm wrapping up.
Take a lot of vitamins in the morning. That's what I'm doing now. I'm at that age where you need vitamins.
Today's a nice day. Finally. Hopefully the rain will be limited. All right, I'm just going to use a couple gallons there real quick. I'll put some fresh water on the stuff that really suffers in the salt. Fit in. It never ceases to amaze me, really, like how corrosive salt water is. You know, like, we know all this, but once you start living around it, you know, we've had the jumper cables is my favorite example. Actually, I have those right here. I can pull them out and show you. So for those of you that were with us on the passage, you're familiar that we had lightning along the way. And one of the things we do to protect against lightning is to clip some jumper cables, heavy-duty truck-based jumper cables, onto the shrouds, which is the cable that runs to the top of the mast, and then drop them in the water to give the lightning a safer path to get to the water, because that's what lightning's trying to do. It's trying to get to ground, and water counts as ground. So here's the end of the jumper cables that I connected to the shroud.
3 days. That's 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days, right? So they're a little rusty, not looking too great, right? But those were the ends that were above water connected to the shroud. Here are the ends of the jumper cables that were underwater for 3 days. I hope that's focused. All it took, 3 days. Look at, I mean, they're destroyed. To me, that's just crazy. 3 days in the salt water and they look like this.
It's stressing me out that we have no water, or we're only down to a tank. Steve.
I don't know what to tell you. Oh, God damn it.
I know.
Ah! All right. Well, that happened. Sorry, God, I took your name in vain. I really want to. I'm trying to break that habit. Oof. That was one of my dad's favorite words. I'm not blaming him, but from him, and I really. It's a terrible thing to say, and I can't stand when I do it. And I really want to break that habit. Anywho, now using a tiny bit, like there's no way that this little bit of fresh water that I have is enough to rinse this whole dinghy cover, but maybe just a little. And I'm hoping to get the salt off the fittings and the stainless steel snaps and such. So maybe it can help just a little bit. And then once we're at sea for a while and I can make more water, then I can use all I want, because the actual amount of the water supply is endless, but you have to be somewhere where you can make water. And in some anchorages, like the work brain, in some anchorages the water is clean enough in these really pristine anchorages, especially if we're only 1 or 2 boats in there, then I don't mind running the water maker. But I won't do it in here where there's 30 boats here and a fuel dock not far away. Lots of nasty stuff. Which actually, now that I'm looking around, well, there's still a lot of boats. There's fewer boats here than there were yesterday. I counted yesterday, there were 54 boats in the harbor. Oh, I hear that generator running. I want to shut that off. Yeah, we're actually making good solar right now. The first time in days. So. All right, now the dinghy cover's hung up to dry. Unless it rains, it'll be dry in a couple hours. The wind and the sun, stuff dries quickly.
Auntie Kim said that she's loud too.
I have a few loud friends, and it's funny, a number of them are women. So it's always funny when the women are loud too. Looking at you, Sandy Quigley.
All right, I'm gonna go hop in the shower in a minute. I really wanted to wash my hair. I'm gonna just
Yeah, the solar panels are making 1,300. Yeah, you can wash your hair. I mean, you know, we got a couple days, but we just conserve as much as you can. What was I getting ready to do just now? Ugh. Those are the main jobs I wanted to finish. Babe.
Air fryer carrots, my new favorite thing.
Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, we'll keep them forever.
I keep hearing, any of y'all who are on the Pacific Passage with us, you might have heard, I had this, it's an app called Alarmy, and it has all these different ways that you can set the app to be as obnoxious and relentless as possible. And that's important when you're on passage, because I would set while I was on watch. If I was going to take a quick nap while I was on night watch, there had to be no question about the fact that I was going to wake up, right? And you know, resume duties and such as I was on night watch. So I found this app, and the alarm that I set for myself sounded like a rooster. It was like, "Arr!" It was kind of funny. But what it's done to me now is, now we're ashore and there's chickens all over the place here and no shore. So what has that done? Now I feel like that alarm's going off almost constantly, because I hear roosters ashore. I hear them crowing. They're crowing right now. You know, and so my rooster alarm goes off, and I'm like, oh no, it's night watch. All right, let me have a look in the chat here. Megan and Steve are awesome. Thank you, Auntie Kim. Oh, I appreciate that. It's funny how it's become just sort of like normal. We're just sharing our... Oh, hey, Conrad, Kristen's dad. I hope you're still watching, brother. Welcome aboard the crew. Very happy to have you on board. Kristen's one of our favorite crew members and goes all the way back to Montclair and high school. So good stuff, good stuff. And honestly, we love when you guys tell your friends and your family. You know, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. You know, because it's like, I don't know. Obviously, we feel like we're doing something kind of unique here, and we love sharing it because we think it's so cool. It's like, hey, look at this thing. And so it feels great when we have a little community and people coming in and you're enjoying what we're up to. So love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. We're getting inspired by you guys. That's the highest compliment you could pay us, you know? Like honestly, we made a decision is just, you know, as you see, this life is not necessarily easy. It's not all luxury and lounging around in the sun. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of self-reliance. You know, if stuff goes wrong, you got to be able to deal with it. There's some financial stress, but we just said, you get one life. And let's go live it. So that's what we're up to. And if you guys enjoy that, then that's really humbling and gratifying. So thank you. So anyway, Conrad, back to Montclair, baby. We're glad you're on board. Thank you for joining us. And Auntie Kim, I love that you're loving it. You know, it's like it's easy. We just, you know, pop on a couple mics and talk about what we're already doing anyway. So piece of cake, piece of cake. But look at what it did. I don't know if you can see it from the camera. This counter over here is just piled with all my tools. And honestly, that's one of the things I miss the most about living on land is having a workbench. You know, I mean, out in the garage, I had a workbench with the pegboard and tools hanging there. And if you had a project half done, it could sit there and it wasn't hurting anybody. All your tools were at hand. On the boat, there's just no storage. So we have one little compartment and all my tools go into individual bags. I have one bag for drivers, one for pliers, one for power tools. So they're all organized by category, but when you're working, you got to pull them all out and then they end up piled on a countertop, and that, you know, Megan takes it in stride, but she doesn't like it. You know, there's tools piled over the place. So then when you're done, you got to put them all away. And then as soon as you have something else you need them for, you got to pull them back out. I miss my workbench. Leave it at that.
I feel the same way about my fabulosity in my closet.
Yeah.
Everything is in a tub right now. My craft closet. Not convenient, Steve.
No, it's not convenient. But the trade-off doesn't bother me at all because we're obviously trading off some inconvenience for awesomeness. And even the stuff that's not convenient, like I was saying earlier, feels good. Feels close to Mother Earth. So, anywho, I kind of love that. I have spent more time in this life sitting up front, quietly by myself, not looking at my stupid phone, staring at the stars at night. How often do you take time to just sit alone quietly not looking at a TV or your phone or even a book, just alone with your thoughts. If you haven't done that in a long time, I suggest trying it.
Look at these. Look at these air fryer carrots. These are good.
Those look pretty. They look like French fries.
That was the whole point.
It looks pretty tasty. Look at Megan over there making it happen.
It's hot. Don't think she's a messenger.
Yeah. Somebody needs to invent a zipper that doesn't get stuck on its own fabric.
I'm not going to respond to that because there are those. The problem is
the cheap Chinese goods don't use them.
That case was not made. They made a really well-made selfie stick, but then the case that it goes in is an intentionally cheap product.
Like, this is just garbage. Every time I open or close this, the zipper gets caught on its own fabric.
These are good.
There we go.
The problem when I make these things, I end up eating half of it by the time.
I can't believe that's a carrot.
I know. But I wanted to turn all this stuff around before we fry more carrots.
Yeah.
Alright, I really do need to have a shower or we're not going to. Well, started making carrots. Much different than theirs. You know, they go and they do crossings with people, and that's awesome. It's definitely a different, you know, on a monohull. We were saying like, oh, we're catamaran people, they're monohull people, and there's no, you know, it's not like, you know, people drive different cars. Some people like, oh, I like the truck. So there's no right or wrong way to, you know, sail.
Yeah, good point.
It's just, you know, what is your style? So if you've always been interested in like people that live on a catamaran, how they make it work with animals. I don't know. Can you guys all hear me? I don't know if you can even hear me.
If you got your mic on, I'm sure they can. Oh, is it on the counter? Well then, no, they can't hear you.
I don't know if anyone just I don't know. No one ever my mic on. My air fryer carrots were done. I was just saying, and while I just put this next batch of air fryer carrots in the oven before we leave, there's all different types of sailing. There's all different types of living this lifestyle. So good example is we met Amy and Peter last night, who they actually flew here and they're going to do a crossing with a boat that's in the harbor right now. I'm looking at it right now. And so that's one way. It's like you could be on a monohull and you could be doing crossings with people. Like the people that were our friends on Agave, they're professional crew that are hired to transport that boat for the owners. So their lifestyle is much different. So there's all different types of ways to sail. It's kind of like my analogy would be is like, you know, you own a car. Some people own a truck. Some people own a sports car. Some people own, you know, a minivan. You know, it just really all depends on the type of lifestyle that you want to live. And if you've ever been curious about, you know, how people live on a catamaran with animals as a couple, that, you know, we're not going to kill each other, hopefully. You know, it's like that Steve and I are learning. You guys are learning as we're doing it. We've only been now cruising, blue water cruising for 5 months. So we're new. So we're learning at the same time as you are. We're not some of these, there's much respect to them, but there's some, you know, there's some sailing channels that they've been cruising for 10 years and they've been, you know, they have this whole lifestyle down. So we're like learning. as we're going. So it's, you know, there's stress involved. There's so many things that we're learning, you know, as we go. So it's a very interesting, if you guys are interested in it, you know, we're chill people. We don't take ourselves too seriously. You know, we like to have fun. That was kind of the whole thing is that's why we keep on saying, is like, we're not trying to make a living off of this. We want to have a good time and enjoy our life. And, you know, if anyone's interested in it and they want to learn something about it, here we are. We're learning at the same time that you're learning. Yeah, these carrots are dope.
Dope.
They're amazing. They taste like French fries. So anyhow, all right, I'll get off my speaker box now and go and get ready. There's one way to get Steve to eat his carrots.
I like carrots.
I love carrots. I mean, and we're going to be able to find them, and they last long, you know, like, we'll be able to find them on all the islands we go to, so learning to love them now. I'm not even kidding when I'm eating them all. All right. Josh, I hope you don't hate us, or I hope your son doesn't hate us.
What does he hate?
He said my son hates them. I hope they don't. I hope it's not us. Oh, Gumville's Wall. Sorry, I'm gonna. I'm butchering your name. I'm sorry. Says I've been sailing for a while myself, so I know what it is like. Yes. I hope that you do not hate us, and yes, Goose Wall. Yeah, it's an interesting lifestyle. Oh, carrots. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean the air fryer. If you don't have an air fryer, I never had an air fryer, and this new oven that we got has an air fryer feature. So I'm learning that because it removes. Oh, nobody can. Oh, thank you. It removes the moisture out of the whatever you put in it, so it's perfect for boat life. So I'm learning to embrace my air fryer. Okay, I'm gonna go now finally and shower and not look like a pig. You good, Steve?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the boat is a disaster. So disaster.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah, well, oh yeah.
What time do you have?
12:13.
Huh?
Yeah. Oh no, sorry, that's the wrong time. 9:43.
Okay, gotta get her on, Steve.
Oh no, sorry, that's the wrong time. 9:43. Air fryer's cranking. Leftover pizza's gonna be tasty.
I don't know if any of you Megan asked me what time it was, and I said 12:43. That's obviously California time. Or not 12:43, 12 whatever. 12:17 right now. It's 12:17 in California. And our computers, like all of our phones, have figured out that in Marquesas time right now it's 9:48. But the computers have not figured that out, and I actually tried to manually reset the computers to the correct time zone, and the Marquesas time zone doesn't even exist. You know how you can type in a city like Los Angeles? I typed in every possible like town or around here, the names of the islands, nothing. And Apple doesn't give you any way to just say, hey, it's the Marquesas time zone. You can't pick the time zone, you have to pick a city. And none of it worked. And the phones have figured out where we are, but the computers have, actually this one has. That's interesting. So one computer figured out where we are. That's interesting, and the other one didn't. So that must, maybe that's a setting. But yeah, it's wild. All of our stuff says different time zones. I think once we get to Tahiti time, it'll be more standardized, and I think it'll be easier to get everything matched up.
All right. What should I wear for the harbor cruise? Okay.
Okay. I'm going to reprise the dashiki for the harbor cruise. Anyone who missed us talking about the history of the dashiki the first time, most people think of these garments as an African garment, which they are, but they were not originally invented and conceived of in Africa. They were originally invented and created by the Dutch in a process called the Dutch wax print. I learned all this from Meghan because she's so into textiles and everything. So the Dutch, and of course, that, you know, in the, I guess this goes back to the 19th century, maybe earlier. You know, and the Dutch and, you know, all the European powers were colonizing parts of Africa. And so the Dutch brought the wax print into Africa, but it was also huge in the Polynesian islands. It was all over the place here, and a lot of its original you can go, you know, go Google Dutch wax print, you'll learn all about it. I don't remember all the specifics, but it was created by the Dutch, very, very big and developed in the Polynesian islands, and then was later... in Indonesia, it's called batiking.
Some countries call it wax printing, some people call it batiking.
There you go. So batiking, same thing, right? But it was big all over the Polynesian islands, Indonesia, it was big all over the world, and then was adopted in Africa because the Dutch were very active there and it became very popular there. And then of course we all know it best because in the 1960s it became associated and adopted by the Black Power movement. So we often think of the dashiki as a Black Power / African thing. And we've even once or twice had people accuse us of cultural appropriation when we've worn them. And of course those people are not interested in the long explanation behind it. But the whole concept of cultural appropriation, I think, is a little silly. But, you know, because to me it's appreciation. Why am I wearing this? Not because I want to steal something from anybody, but because I think you came up with something cool. Now, there's another important reason why I'm wearing this. Meghan's grandparents bought this very dashiki that I'm wearing. This was her grandfather's. And they bought it in Tahiti on their honeymoon in 1969. So, second honeymoon. Okay, second honeymoon. Oh, they never got a proper honeymoon, so they went to Tahiti for a second honeymoon, for a proper honeymoon, I guess when they could afford it. So anyway, there's a lot of history here. There's the appreciation of the art and the textile. There's the appreciation of the family connection. Just lots and lots of history. So, and I actually have one or two other dashikis that I bought in different places. And I love them, you know, because they're just, it's fun to wear things that are totally different, that are unexpected.
This one honors Meghan's family, which is cool. Just, you know, good stuff all the way around. All right. So we're getting ready for the harbor cruise. We're almost ready. I'm going to load up a couple cold beers because we don't care that it's 10 in the morning. The harbor cruise has to have beer. Megan, do you happen to know where the Buc-ee's cooler ended up? Okay. Get the dogs ready. Ouch. Ow. I kind of doubt we're going to drink 6 beers while we're out harbor cruising, but, you know, it's not impossible, so... I'm an Eagle Scout. If you're familiar with Boy Scouts of America, before they went down the tube. The motto, the Scout's motto was be prepared. So I'm being prepared. All right, I'd like a couple of cold Frosties. 10 o'clock in the morning. All right, so that's ready.
If you look out, does it look like there's other clouds and it's going to start raining again?
I will check.
And,
Sure hope not. There's some dark clouds in the sky, but there's blue sky under them, so I think we're okay. All right, pugs. Sheesh. Why is that acting that way? There we go.
Alright, I think I'm ready for my harbor cruise.
Alright.
I'm gonna cover up my carrots because well, we should put the fan back on them too.
You want the food in there with it?
Maybe not.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it is time.
Time to rock.
Alright, so we're going to end this live stream, and we're going to restart the Harbor Cruise live stream right now. So it'll take 1 or 2 minutes to get us going, but this one's going to end. And we're going to go directly from the mobile phone, so that's a scheduled live stream. So look for it in the live, and we will see you there in 60 seconds or so.
We should